Okay, Renee, so you're having difficulty with this model. You're at the point here where you want to do that midpoint relationship on this line. If you select that line and maybe that point in here, you go to midpoint in here. Sometimes it likes you, sometimes it doesn't. If you try to put that line across the bottom, definitely it's not going to like you down here. And I think the reason is because some of the dimensions you have in here appear to be dimensioned between they seem to be dimensioned between points, and sometimes that doesn't quite work out. If you remember, when you dimension between points, you still have the capacity to be able to rotate around those points. What would be a better dimension in here would be the dimension between lines, or a line and a point would be okay. So if you think about your base sketch you're putting in here, you're going to put in a vertical line on that plane, horizontal line on that plane, and this arc and in this geometry in here. You want to make sure that you select between, like maybe this vertical center line in here and that line over here. You want to make sure between those two lines it's 1 inch. And then between this line and the endpoint of that line is going to be 1.5 inches. You want to do this before you do all your offsets. You want to do that, of course, before you do your fillet too. So that way you can get your virtual sharp. That way you don't have to try to put a point in here. Because if you take that point and try to delete that, your dimensions are going to go away too. So keep that in mind. I believe this 0.1 dimension in here, don't dimension between the two endpoints in here, dimension that line, and I think that'll work for you. And this is one partial resolution in here, but the funny thing about this is you have black endpoints, but you have blue arcs. Well, there it goes. Now that's going to go in there. So I think if we just put in that dimension, that 0.3 dimension, it probably will lock things up. So that seems to work here, but again, let's just do that and get rid of that point in there. And if you try to do that, even though you're taking stuff out, it's going to fail on you. So start from the beginning, dimension between lines and points, better yet, between lines and lines, and I think that'll work out for you.